In my opinion, it is about to be absolutely over for singer David. In the case of Celeste Rivas, he has recently been arrested. Now, before we hop into talking about this, I just want to remind you, I'm hosting this. I'm on a public platform. This is an active investigation. Everything is, alleged. I think he's not. Yeah, there's only so much that I can say, right? But you guys in the comments that think anything about an adult man that dates a child and then kills them and dismembers them, you can say whatever you want, okay? You can say whatever you want. Now, this is actually outside of David's house. It took months and months for the LAPD to actually go in and arrest him. And I just want to remind you guys that, like, people online for a while, they were like, he's disgusting, he did it, don't even get me started, because I talked about this a while ago about whoever the girl was that put together a spreadsheet of the decomposition of Celeste's body trying to solve the murder herself. Fuck you for that. That shit was fucking weird. This is part of the reason why I didn't want to touch half of the David case, okay? Because, like, people were being so weird about it. If you are watching things around crime and what is going on in the world, it's important. You should know what type of people are out there. However, don't do stuff like that. But now we're actually getting information because they've been able to arrest him. Now, in my previous video, I probably said something about this. The police can find out just about anything. Every single thing that you do on your phone is recorded. When you're carrying your phone and you move 5 feet inside of your house, a prosecutor can figure that out. When you are typing something and you plan to search it, but you decide not to search it and you backspace, they can pull that off of your phone, okay? If you're doing anything illegal, you're cooked. I think what gets released is actually gonna be extremely disturbing. Look, if you're not up to date on this case, there's this singer named David who blew up on TikTok. And also, you know what, this is really what kind of bothers me. Like, he kind of does this little soft boy aesthetic. He makes this music, okay, whatever, and everybody was eating it up. They're like, oh, he's so soft boy, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, y'all said the same thing about Saikuno. Okay, sorry. Anywho, David was very, very popular online, massive singer, touring, 20 million monthly Spotify listens, TikToks in the millions. Jesus Christ, before this all broke, he did the Fortnite anthem. It was like their song for the year or whatever. That's how big David was. But David had a really big problem. Mind you, we're still at trial. We have no verdicts, There's only certain things I can say. I will say this, though. He's a pedophile. I'm like, dude, you know what I fucking hate? I hate that he hasn't been tried for that, so technically I can't say it, but like, oh my God, if you're watching this, like, you need to understand this dude liked 12-year-olds. He was talking to 12-year-olds. Here's the other thing that's really weird about David or anyone like him. Yes, he assaulted a child. Celeste was 12, 13 years old. I don't want to get too caught up in the semantics to miss this part. I want you to be able to carry the nuance here. David was not only someone who was sexually attracted to minors, but he also wanted to date her. He is a fully grown man that wants to be in a relationship with a 12-year-old. And also, I just want to mention, it is mind-blowing to me that David still has over 20 million monthly Spotify streams as of this month. That means that for the last 3, 4, 5 months, that 20 million people have been listening to romantic songs that an adult man wrote about a child that he later dismembered. Allegedly. God, dude, let's watch the press release. Now, before we hop into this, I just want to say this video right here, I have not seen this since OJ. Whatever is on this man's phone is absolutely fine. Oh, and then sorry, Jesus Christ. I should be showing you footage. I'm just like here talking to you right now. The other thing is this. David loved gore. He loved gore discords. He loved gore websites. He loved gore videos. Now, many kids, especially born in the 2000s, sure, they might have poked around rotten.com or Ogrish and they said, well, I saw that. I don't want to see that again. All right. No, this guy liked it, sought it out. And if what they think is true. You know, he might have done something himself, right? I think that that's a pretty serious thing. On David's phone is going to be things that he would watch, things that he would search, things that he would say, sexual conversations with people underage and maybe overage. The stuff that is on his phone is so fucking scary that they have OJ level police outside of his home. I'm actually really glad that they took their time to collect as much information as possible and make the arrest, because for the first month or two, they made David feel like they made him feel like he wasn't that much of a suspect. So I think he talked and cooperated as much as he could. Then they kind of flipped things around. There's a lot of news reports of it, but I would like to see the press conference from the LAPD. You know what? Also, okay, here's what I'm going to say, guys. I'm going to follow this case as long as I can, because I think that it is genuinely a lot sicker than you realize.
Good morning, everybody. We are going to give you an update on this case here in just a minute, just to give you an idea of what's going to happen here. We've got the Los Angeles County District Attorney, Nathan Hochman, and the Chief of Police, Jim McDonald, coming up.
Okay,
and, they will
the
be
DA
speaking
and
to
the
you.
Chief of Police are here. They're taking him very seriously.
I will ask you when we get to any questions. There's only going to be time for just a few brief questions, so this isn't going to be a long Q&A afterwards. I'm going to ask you if you could do one at a time as much as possible so that we can hear the question, process it, and answer it appropriately.
Okay.
District Attorney Nathan Hochman.
Good morning. My name is Nathan Hochman. I'm the District Attorney of Los Angeles County. With me up here is Los Angeles Police Department Chief Jim McDonald. Also at this podium on the DA's side are the Assistant District Attorney Maria Ramirez, who oversees our special operations. We have John McKinney, who is our Director of Specialized Prosecutions. The Assistant Head Deputy District Attorney is Habib Balian of the Major Crimes Division. Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman of the Major Crimes Division will be the lead prosecutor on this case. From the Los Angeles Police Department, we also have Captain Scott Will.
Watercup said, "Are you going to make a video about this?" You're in the video.
Captain Scott Williams, who's the commanding officer of LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division. The Chief of Detectives, Alan Hamilton. The Director of Specialized Prosecutions, Mike Rimkunis. And the LAPD detectives on this case, Josh Byers and Corey Farrell. Today, I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke, the musician known as David, spelled D4vd, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. These charges...
I'm telling you, this is what you gotta watch out for, man. They are being so serious about this case in a way that I have not seen before. This is not just peacocking to show like, oh, celebrities can't even get away with, you know, whatever they want. They're not just doing that. They have seen some crazy shit. And the way that the internet is going these days, you know, there's an entire generation of boys that feel like life is not real and life is a game. And this is all just a simulation because they're so terminally on their phones. Nothing feels real to them. David could be one of those types of kids. Also, if you got sons, man, check that phone. I don't care about no 12-year-old's privacy. Pick that phone up and start scrolling. Put some apps on there.
Of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. These charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring. That is first-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstances being lying in wait. Committing this crime for financial gain, or murdering a witness in an investigation. These special circumstances carry with it, along with the first-degree murder charge, a maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty.
Hey, sister, wake up. A musical singer that has millions of fans and was singing about his crimes is on trial and facing the death penalty. Babe, we're in the documentary. We're in the movie.
On whether or not the district attorney's office will seek the death penalty will be made at a later time. Before I get into the actual charges, and there are additional charges against Mr. Burke, including continuous sexual acts, lewd and lascivious sexual acts with an individual under 14 years old, and mutilating a human remains of a body. Before I get into the description of these charges and their seriousness, I want to look at this as a parent. I am a parent of 3 children, and a parent's nightmare is a situation where your daughter goes out one night and never comes back. As we will show in a court of law, and what I also want to make sure about that the understanding of these charges is clear, is my description of these charges is not evidence that we are going to present in court. These charges, in fact, will not be evidence in the court. Evidence will be the witness testimony, the documents, and different types of admissible testimony that we will admit into court in the prosecution, and if it leads to the eventual trial of Mr. Burke, to convince a jury of 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt that each and every one of these charges is true, as well as the special allegations and circumstances that have been alleged. Now, back to this being a parent's nightmare. On April 23rd, 2025, as been alleged by the complaint, Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time, went to Mr. Burke's house in the Hollywood Hills. She was never heard from again.
Can you imagine being a girl from, I don't know what her home, I mean, I'm assuming her home life was not great. My home life wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't great. It wasn't the end of the world. And I ran away multiple times. Okay, look, sometimes teenagers got some going on. They run away, okay? Imagine you're a kid that kind of has a up childhood and you meet a really famous singer at 14 and he takes you to parties. He treats you like you're his girlfriend. It's such a mind fuck for her. Like, to her, it probably had to seem like a dream, you know? And then, you know what else is crazy about this whole David thing? Some of you will know what I'm talking about if you follow the case or you've looked at his stuff. David thought that this was art, which is so strange to me. There's a lot of tributes to her and to the possible murder. I have to say that. There's a lot of tributes, artistic tributes to it. And that's one thing that I think is really creepy. You can make art out of just about anything, but murder is not art in any capacity, you fucking weird bitch. Like, it's not, like, it's not. This was your inspo, bro?
On September 8th, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, Miss Celeste remains, her dismembered and decomposed remains, were found in 2 bags inside of a front trunk of a car registered to Mr. Burke. Thereafter began an investigation. The investigation was to determine who killed, who murdered Celeste months and months before. That investigation was carried out in unison and in partnership between the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division and the District Attorney's Office. At every point in the investigation, through the arrest and the filing of charges, the LAPD and the District Attorney's Office have worked in lockstep. There's been no disagreements amongst these entities in deciding how to proceed with this case, ultimately leading to these charges today. So what you have as well with these charges is that, again, there are 3 sets of charges that have been brought. The first-degree murder with special circumstances, and again, those special circumstances are lying in wait. That Celeste went to Mr. Burke's home on the night of April 23rd, 2025, as alleged in the complaint.
I'm going to make a crazy speculation or guess here, okay? Think of this as a BOZE. I'm putting it out into the world because I'm looking at a pattern, and I've looked at a lot of cases, and I think this is very possible. David invited Celeste over under the guise of wanting to see her, and then he murdered her. I would not be surprised if the setup for the murder itself was ritualistic in a sense. I would not be surprised if the police have evidence of him setting up things, whether you know what I mean? Treating it like a ritualistic kind of thing. I would not be surprised at all whatsoever.
As alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again. The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain.
To keep
As the
his
evidence will
reputation.
show in court,
I
the
bet it was to keep
financial
his
gain was
reputation.
for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening on that particular
With
night.
her mere
The
existence.
third charge, in addition to lying in wait and for financial gain, is murdering a witness to an investigation. In this particular case, as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste. And the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke that is the subject of count 2 of this complaint with Celeste
already
while she was under 14 years old.
Is he trying to say that David was already under investigation for pedophilia before this happened? I feel like that is what he's saying.
With Celeste,
Like somebody
while she was under 14
Talked
years
about it or
old.
something?
I had the chance to meet with some of the family members of Celeste, and their grief is uncalculable as to what happened to their daughter. What they have demanded, what we have assured them that the district attorney's office working with LAPD would give them is the idea, is the proof beyond a reasonable doubt on who killed their daughter, on how their daughter was killed, when their daughter was killed, and bring that killer to justice.
Quick note here. Here's why I think David should not get the death penalty. It's because if David did commit this act as some type of ritualistic art in his up mind, look, dig into him a little bit, you'll see what I'm talking about, then to die by lethal injection or electric chair would be his ultimate fantasy and legacy. He would find warmth in being in the electric chair, for lack of a better term. That's some shit that he would make an album cover, okay? For him to get the death penalty would probably actually give him a greater legacy. Instead, David needs to go to jail and get the shit kicked out of him for being a pedophile and dismembering a child, allegedly. That's my argument for that. Let him live.
And bring that killer to justice. That killer that we have now charged is David Anthony Burke. We will have questions after I speak and Chief McDonald speaks. At this point, I invite Chief McDonald.
Oh my God, yes. Bradiana said, and be with Celeste on the other side. He's stick that way. Yes! Like, you can make a bad thing happen to this guy, and he'll try to turn it to, this is my story. This is my essence. Yes, this is what I deserve, and I'm gonna be on the other side with her. Give him life. Put him in Gen Pop. Sorry. That's why I said I can't be a judge. I can't be a judge. Put him in Gen Pop. Put him in there.
To speak.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I want to begin by expressing my deepest condolences to the parents of Celeste Rivas. No parent or any human being should have to endure what you've gone through. Today, alongside DA Hochman and our partners at the LA County District Attorney's Office, and thanks to the tireless and hard work of our investigators at the LAPD, we're announcing the arrest and prosecution of David Burke for the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas. Throughout the 7-month investigation, this department has faced criticism for how we handled the case and for our decision not to provide details.
I would just like to say from the jump, I was like, everybody online, shut up and just let the LAPD handle it because they got them damn phones, okay? And look, this guy, sure, he had a whole bunch of followers and a bunch of monthly listeners. He ain't sure. He been a singer for three years, 3 minutes, 2 seconds. And you fucked it up already with the worst thing you could possibly do.
I want to be clear about something. My duty is not to fuel speculation. It's to deliver justice. And that requires patience and discipline on everybody's part.
Never mind. He's spitting. He's spitting. Say it again, young man.
I want to be clear about something.
Yeah?
My duty is not to fuel speculation.
Okay.
It's to deliver justice. And that requires patience and discipline on everybody's part. This investigation was driven by a single purpose: to secure justice for Celeste Rivas and for those who loved her. We had to be certain that nothing we did or said would ever jeopardize this case.
I am so sorry, sir, that I didn't... Look, I liked the other guy's enthusiasm, but I'm loving everything this motherfucker's saying right now. Sorry, this young man. I'm loving everything that he's saying, because that's fully like what... Yeah, hey, guys, sometimes justice takes time. How many of you guys have had something that ended poorly or was very difficult and stressful, and you just had to walk away from it, and years later, suddenly, without having to do anything, you end up getting your justice, or sometimes it's your revenge. Patience does yield a much, much greater result.
Ms. Rivas was a reported runaway from Riverside County. During the course of our investigation, detectives learned that she had been involved in a sexual relationship with Mr. Burke when she was a minor and he was an adult. On April 23rd, 2020...
And also, I know some people are going to be like, it wasn't a sexual relationship. She's a child. She can't consent. It's assault. Bitch, we know, okay? Let's not get hung up on semantics right now. This fool clearly on the same page as us.
25, Ms. Rivas arrived at Mr. Burke's home in the Hollywood Hills. That's the last time she was known to be alive. On September 8th, 2025, Ms. Rivas's dismembered and badly decomposed body was discovered in the front trunk of Mr. Burke's impounded Tesla. From that moment forward, our investigators faced an extraordinary, difficult, and complex case. The condition of her remains delayed the medical examiner's ability to be able to determine cause of death.
It was that bad.
The substantial amount of time that passed between her death and the discovery meant that crucial evidence had degraded or disappeared. And as detectives worked to uncover the truth, they also had to sift through and debunk a great deal of false information
and
circulating publicly.
And bullshit, yeah.
These challenges were real, and they required patience, precision, and an unwavering commitment to the facts. Despite these obstacles, and despite intense public pressure, our Robbery Homicide Division detectives remained steadfast in their duties. They recovered and analyzed a substantial amount of digital and forensic evidence.
Oh my God, what is in there? Another reason why this is a case to watch is because it's a landmark case. Not just because he's famous, not just because of the circumstances, but it's one of the biggest cases that's going to have the most digital evidence you have ever seen in your life. All speculation, but sometimes when I see certain patterns, you can kind of cluster them into a certain type of personality. David is somebody that likes to have, in crime, they call it trophies that killers do. They keep little trinkets or things to remember the person that they've killed. If you know the Krista Pike case, she kept a piece of her victim's skull. I find it hard to believe that somebody like David that is writing all these songs about the murder, doing photo shoots post the murder. That one with the white shirt with the red blood on it. I don't know why, but I feel like that's what he was wearing. I don't know why. It's just a thought that I have. I thought that was very strange, but I find it hard to believe that he would not have taken something like body-wise, or God, this is a fucking tough case, man. Taken photos or taken videos or something like that. Somebody that wants mementos for these types of things, that grew up watching gore videos, that later went on to possibly do the act themselves, has a very low probability of not documenting it.
And analyzed a substantial amount of digital and forensic evidence. They stayed focused, disciplined, and committed to uncovering the truth. Their work, in close collaboration with the District Attorney's Office, has brought us to this moment today. I want to thank the District Attorney and his team, as always, for their partnership. This case demanded coordination, persistence, and a shared commitment to justice. Also, thank you to our media partners for showing up today and for sharing this important message with the public. And finally, to Ms. Rivas's family, we cannot undo the pain you are feeling. Our hope is that today brings some measure of accountability and a step in the journey toward healing. Please know that the Los Angeles Police Department remains fully committed to seeking justice on behalf of your daughter. Thank you.
I also love that they actually met with the family.
So at this point, we'll take questions.
Anything more you can tell us about the fact that she was a witness in the pending investigation, that she reported the abuse, who was doing that investigation?
He just said anything else you can tell us about the original investigation prior to this, like where she was a witness.
The details of the allegations that have made, particularly with that special circumstance, will be produced in court.
Did you determine the cause of death and the difficulty it was to determine both the manner, cause, and date?
So with respect to the coroner's report, we will be seeking quite quickly to provide an order to the court that now allows the coroner to release that report to the public.
This is
From the BBC, between the finding of the body of Celeste's body or her remains, why has it taken so long for an arrest to be made?
I think the police chief got it right, that in a situation where you don't have an eyewitness account, or we can't point to a video that shows the killer killing someone, you have to go through the very rigorous and thorough investigation to look at all the digital and forensic evidence. You have to speak with witnesses, often who are cooperative, and some who are not cooperative, in order to obtain all the information necessary to decide who did what, when, how, and what their mental state was at the time. That is what we've been doing over the last...
Whoa! I know they're not trying to say too much, but that just said a lot. Okay, listen to this really quick.
Often who are cooperative and some who are not cooperative, in order to obtain all the information necessary to decide who did what, when, how, and what their mental state was at the time.
He just said they have been talking to multiple witnesses to figure out who did what and what their mental state was at the time. This is ringing alarm bells to me. This is ringing massive alarm bells to me, because what it says to me is that a group was involved, multiple people. And of course, multiple people were involved because he's famous and he can just pay people, and they probably participated in some way. And then what he says after that is the most shocking. He says, we then have to determine what their mental state was. That means that what they did was so crazy that they had to all be mentally evaluated, because when it goes to court, we don't want them to plead, oh, I was coerced, I was crazy, I was on drugs, I was da-da-da-da-da-da. This is while they were sitting in that interrogation room, it was, you did what? And what was going on that week that made you do that?
That is what we've been doing over the last, between September 8th, roughly, and today when we bring these charges on April 20th. So again, it's the type of case that you want to make sure you get maximum information. And by the way, if there's anyone out there that has material information about this particular murder or any other actions taken by Mr. Burke, please come forward to the Los Angeles Police Department, come forward to the LA County DA's office,
wow, they're really...
and report that information.
Oh, damn, that was like out of a movie. Also, if anybody like actually knew that guy, you should just turn your whole fucking phone over to the LAPD, because you don't know what they're not going to mess with your other stuff. You have no idea what you may not be thinking of that is vital or references something else at the time, you know? Also, I know he shared locations with somebody, but actually he probably didn't take his phone everywhere.
Mr. Hoffman, there are other people who were aware of this relationship. Is it possible that you will be arresting other people within his circle, and did he act alone in this death?
Again, with respect to whether or not there's any other individuals or we're going to take any other actions, you will know about them if we do, but at this point I'm not commenting.
Do you believe that you know how she was killed, beyond it being homicide? The actual cause of death?
The coroner's report will be released shortly. Because it is not currently released, I'm not going to be commenting.
But was it determined, not that, if you won't say what it was, but has it been determined how she was killed, beyond it being homicide?
The coroner has made a determination on how Celeste died, and at the point that the coroner's report becomes public, we'll be able to comment on it.
Was there a specific breakthrough last week? Is there
today?
physical evidence that ties David to this murder?
There is physical evidence and there is forensic and digital evidence that we intend to present in court to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt.
Diamond said, imagine the producers of his music videos when all this came out. They must have been very surprised. Just to take this a little bit deeper, David clearly has a pattern of keeping mementos through his work, whether it be photos, concerts, songs, or whatever, of the things that he's done. For example, this murder. Lots of people online, look, people online are wrong about some stuff. They're right about like some. A lot of the music is for sure about this little girl, 100%. And what's really interesting about that is that means that he was trying to translate what he had done into art. I would not be surprised if there are messages to set designers or producers or artists or people on his team where he said something that was really, really weird, but he thought that it didn't matter because it's going to this producer or it's going to the set designer of like what he wanted. But if it correlates to something that happened in the case, that is now evidence. The amount of stuff that this kid did not think of that is going to be on that phone will shock you. And that is exactly why I want to talk about this case. Half of my channel is about people that present one way and underneath it, they are all this. Because for very much of my life, I did not believe that that was real. I thought that everybody is who they say they are. It's my naivety. That's why I run this channel, okay? So this reporter asks, through the investigation, are you able to tell us exactly what the smoking gun is?
Charges beyond a reasonable doubt.
Only a couple more questions.
Yes.
Your investigation, and just to his question, are you able to tell us exactly what the smoking gun is? And also, if you can address the issue of his visit to Santa Barbara, and that, how does it connect with the murder?
So with respect to the actual details of the evidence we're going to be presenting in court, I'm not going to do that today. As far as the concept of a smoking gun, the smoking gun is the totality of the evidence that we're going to bring to prove any case, whether it's this case or any case, beyond a reasonable doubt.
I want to see the arraignment video. I got a question for you guys. Do you think that if David is tried and convicted of this, whether it's life, death penalty, whatever it may be, do you think that they should wipe his music off of like Spotify and the internet? And I mean, this is a serious question. Like, look, you guys in chat, I know a whole bunch of you guys are about to say yes, 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 yes. As a society, what are our rules going to be around stuff like that, you know? Because I think it creates copycats. That's what I think is really dangerous. I think the people that are still listening to him are like romanticizing or idolizing or defending him in some way. And really, the reason why they're doing it, like, let's say that it's a lot of boys that are for some reason defending David. It's because something is wrong and they feel some kind of connection or feel like he represents them, which is like horrifying. Let's address that. Let's figure that out. I don't even know where to begin with that, but that's for sure what's happening. Like they recognize something in him that they recognize in themselves. And if anything, it should be a warning, not a rabbit hole to go deeper into.
Good morning or good afternoon, Your Honor. Blair Burke, Marilyn Bednarski, and Regina Peter on behalf of our client, David Burke, who's in custody.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Burke.
Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman with the people, Your Honor.
Thank you. And counsel, on behalf of your client, do you waive formal reading of the complaint, advisement of rights, including armed forces and veterans' rights, and her plea of not guilty, denying any and all special allegations, enhancements, and priors?
Yes, Your Honor.
And requesting a preliminary hearing within the period?
Yes, Your Honor. From the media reports, apparently there have been 4 months of secret grand jury proceedings. We believe that Mr. Burke is entitled at the earliest opportunity to an open preliminary hearing and the proceedings not be done in secret. So we are asking for a preliminary hearing to be set at the earliest possible date on the 10th day.
All right, this is a little fucked up, but I'm just going to tell you this right now. Her opening statement is not going to be good. Her from the team. Denise, this girl said somebody else to do the opening statement. I don't know why. I can tell the vibe's just not there.
Your Honor, we believe the actual evidence will show David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
And where have we heard that before? Also, keyword there for me. We believe the actual evidence. Bitch, when people are fucking lying, they say that, hold on now, girl. The word evidence itself has the word actual baked into it. You don't have to say factual evidence or actual evidence. You just say evidence. It's like included in the word. It's like the drink that comes with the fucking meal, okay? So like the fact that you have to overemphasize, this is what really happened. Girl, you don't believe lickety split the fuck you saying. Chandler Halderson did not kill his parents.
Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death. And we would like to be able to...
I'm so sorry. I do want to see his face when she says that.
Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death. And we would like to be able to have the evidence come into the light of day at the earliest opportunity in order to establish that. We're asking for April 23rd as a 3 of 10, Your Honor.
Anything from the people?
We'll be very happy to put on the evidence that we've collected in this case over the last month.
Okay. This must be the state.
Thank you. So the matter will be set, plea of not guilty has been entered on behalf of Mr. Burke. The matter will be set in Department 105. The matter is ordered assigned to Judge Charlene Almeida of Department 105 for all purposes by the judge of the supervising judge of criminal.
Look, let me say something real quick. If you're new to my channel and you're like coming here because this is a current topic or something, you're like, I don't like that she's smiling or laughing or doing XYZ. Okay, then leave and go to some other boring channel. This is a heavy subject. I've said it multiple times. This is very serious. I take this very seriously. But what I just saw is a prosecutor that is about to beat the living out of that woman. And yeah, I'm excited about that. Okay, so go somewhere boring. Go. Goodbye. I'm so sorry. Let me watch that again because that was nasty.
We'll be very happy to.
So David's attorney says, we're ready to show the actual evidence and the evidence will see the light of day. And then this is the prosecution, the attorney for the state. This is her response. Y'all that we're drawing? Take a look.
Anything from the people?
We'll be very happy to put on the evidence that we've collected in this case over the last several months.
Thank you. So the matter will be set up.
Old girl said, yeah, we will be very happy to show you the evidence we've collected. Yeah, it's bad. It's fucking bad. It's bad. I mean, for David, it's bad. I mean, look, never mind. It's all bad.
Will be set in Department 105. The matter is ordered assigned to Judge Charlene Almeida of Department 105 for all purposes by the judge of the supervising judge of criminal.
Yes, Your Honor. If I may just put on the record, we have, as soon as the people arrive, delivered a informal discovery request consistent with Penal Code Section 1054. We have been given almost no discovery thus far. We've received a 3-page follow-up report, no autopsy report, and a copy of the complaint. And we would ask the people respectfully to produce discovery at the earliest opportunity.
Your Honor, as I've indicated to counsel, there's approximately 40 terabytes of discovery in this case. Moreover, in order to obtain the transcripts from a grand jury...
Why am I getting The Office like... Who's on the fucking camera? Associated Press, haven't you guys been doing this for 80 years?
Moreover, in order to obtain the transcripts from a grand jury investigation, counsel has to file a motion. She knows the way the system works.
She don't want to see what's
I'm
in
not
there.
able to gather those. They have to be provided after the court orders them released because it was an investigation. Second of all, if counsel plans on going to a preliminary hearing within the 10 days, it is unlikely that there will be very much discovery provided within that period, given the voluminous nature and how long it's going to take to copy onto drives. In addition to that, the coroner's report was sealed in this case in order to prevent it from hampering truthful testimony from witnesses that testified at the grand jury. So an order will also have to be obtained in order to get the coroner's department, which is now the medical examiner's department, to release those materials.
She about to tear that
Your
thing
Honor,
up.
it's surprising news given the district attorney's office held a press conference this morning where they...
Hey, I just want you to know, look, I watch a lot of Childs. This lady's about to bomb astronomically. Give her some grace, because at the end of the day, she's just doing her job. I know she has to defend a pedophilic potential murder. God, I hate having to say that. But lady's doing her job. But this other lady, this is bad.
Discussed the cause of death, apparently under seal and not released by the coroner's office, as did
apparently
the
under seal. You knew that.
So
you knew
we
that.
would again reiterate, we believe that Mr. Burke is entitled to discovery. We have served the people with notice. They have 15 days to produce discovery in this case. We would ask that they do that in conscientious earnestness and as quickly as possible.
I'd ask the court to make an order today. We'll take a copy of the minute order ordering the Department of Medical Examiner to release their coroner's report in this case.
To the public? To the public?
Order that the medical examiner release the report in this case.
Why did it, see, look, sometimes I might notice a teeny bit of body language. After they said they would release the coroner report, which the prosecutor said, release it. I don't know if they just mean to them, their team in discovery, or if she means to the public, but you can actually kind of see him look down, like there's some type of shame or something the minute that they say that coroner report on what happened to her body is going to come out.
The court will order that the medical examiner release the report in this case forthwith.
There's just something about that that makes
was
it very
sent in Department 105, as the court indicated,
and a little sway back and forth that we weren't getting before.
As a 3-10 agreement. Anything further?
No, not at this time.
Bail to stand at no bail. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Damn, dude. It's going to be a long one. But I'm telling you, look, just based off of, like, patterns, I feel like there's still going to be something ritualistic in there with that little girl. I really do. I think there's going to be something ritualistic in there.